Newly declassified documents show that President Obama's closest military advisors knew within 15 minutes it was terrorism on September 11th.
Well, 450 pages of documents have just been declassified, and they prove what we've been telling you for years. That the president and top defense officials have lied and been lying to us about what they knew about Benghazi.
As a military person, I'm concerned that someone in the military would be advising that this was a demonstration. I would hope that our military leadership would be advising this was a terrorist attack. Ham. Again, sir, I think, there was some preliminary discussion about, maybe there was a demonstration, but I think at the command, I personally, and I think the command very quickly got to the point that this was not a demonstration, this was a terrorist attack. You follow, and you would have advised as such if asked. Would that be correct? And Ham's answer, well, and with General Dempsey and Secretary Panetta, that is the nature of the conversation we had. Yes, sir.
Now, the documents show that just minutes after the consulate in Benghazi came under attack, the nation's top defense officials were informed that the event was a terrorist attack. And this means, of course, that the president and then Secretary of State Hillary Clinton also knew.
As I watched this, I thought to myself, who is calling this a demonstration? I hope that our military isn't calling it a demonstration. So it pretty much answered what I suspected all along, that we were in some ways being given a different rendition of what actually happened that day and what the military thought was happening that day.
So this is you talking, so no one from the military was ever advising that you are aware of that this was a demonstration gone out of control. It was always considered an attack. His answer, yes, sir. On the United States, you say, yes, sir, we referred to it as the attack.
So this, of course, raises the question of why for 2 weeks did the president and these other top military officials press this false narrative that the assault grew spontaneously out of a demonstration over an anti-Islam video that was produced in America. Numerous aides to the president and Secretary of State Hillary Clinton repeatedly told the public in the weeks following the murder of Ambassador Stevens and 3 other Americans that there was no evidence that the killings were the result of a premeditated terrorist attack.
How did it move, Congressman, from that type of framing to a video that was told to the American people and the rest of the world?
Well, that's the real thing that we need to discover, isn't it? I'd love to know who was in the room that had those conversations that said, this is what we're going to tell the American people took place.
Of course, this was all going on while Obama was running for re-election in a very hotly contested bid. So it was only after he won re-election that disclosures exposed that this narrative was false and that they indeed lied. And of course, the Obama administration had to ultimately acknowledge that its early statements were untrue.
Based on these transcripts, they fingered it, they identified it as terrorism, they went to the White House that same afternoon, and one would assume they delivered the information they did. So how did it go from that to something entirely different?